Hey.
Thea Lafond. This is a moment, 15 meters, gold medal, the first ever for your country. I mean, what are the feelings right now?
It's like loading. I feel like at some point this is gonna hit, and I think right now I'm just like really, really proud. I'm proud to have done what I did. I'm proud of Aaron and I. Aaron is my coach and husband. Our work, and I'm so proud to be from this small, beautiful country, powerful country in the Caribbean. I'm so sorry, and I'm so grateful. I really hope that today was just an inspiration. Today was just a day that just brought joy to my people. I want them to know how much I love them and how much I appreciate them. I want my DOC and my DAA to know how much I'm grateful and how grateful I am for their love, their support, even their prayers, the people that just reach out and wish me a little good luck. And, this is gonna hit. It's probably gonna hit at like 2 a.m. in the morning. And I'm gonna end up like just sobbing in my pajamas. But until then, all I can say is how thankful I am for one, the opportunity to represent Dominica, and two, just the joy that I'm feeling right now, and I just feel just so lucky right now.
You had a good college career at Maryland, but nothing, I guess, that would project to something like this. What stimulated you to keep persisting and keep improving and keep goal setting?
So for those who don't know, I was actually a really good multi in college, but my high jump coach, Frank Costello, told me that he thought I could go further in triple. And at first I wasn't sure, but then I hated training for the 800, for the outside half, and realized that my true love was jumping. And so I decided to pursue that. And after my first Olympics, which was 2016, I wasn't too happy with my outcome. I got injured. I didn't feel like I was in great shape. And I told myself that I can do better for myself and also to become a better representation of Dominica. And I think that's what really fuels me, is that I want to get better. I want to be on a podium as much as I can be to put us on the map. And so, one podium down.
Does someone like Julian Alfred representing, a small thing, is she an inspiration also?
So Julian is from St. Lucia, which is a neighboring country to Dominica. We share a lot of similarities cultural-wise, and I would be lying to you if I said I didn't cry last night when I saw her gold. I messaged Aaron and I told him that I so desperately want this. I don't want to disappoint. And his words back to me was like, "It's okay. It's your turn." And one of the very first things I thought of when I got out there to the track after the introductions was like, all right, I need a 1-2 punch for the Lesser Antilles Islands. Like, Julian was the one, I gotta be the two, right? Like, let's do it. But it was an amazing inspiration last night and filled me with such pride. And once again, these small countries providing just doing such amazing things. And I knew St. Lucia was going to be so proud. And I wanted that same feeling for Dominica. So a huge thank you and a congratulations to Julian Alfred for the inspiration late last night. And of course that gold medal, twinsies.
Go ahead.
So obviously through the years, Jamaica and Trinidad have been big countries in athletics. What do you think explains now the broadening of top athletes in Caribbean countries? Is it access to American colleges, or is it more than that, or what do you think?
I think a big part of it is the access to American colleges and just the developmental roles that the NCAA plays for young athletes. There are very few systems outside, especially in America, outside D1 schools that actually provide you with a high level of coaching, high level of treatment, high level of recovery, accessibility. So when you have everything you really need, all within a few square miles of each other, it's a really good way for athletes to be able to focus and to really hone in on their skills. And you're seeing a lot more of these Caribbean athletes feed into the NCAA system, at least for a few years, and get really good. And I think that that's a very, well, to me, a very good, winning, kind of system. And I think that the more we develop those kind of systems across the Caribbean, the more opportunities our Caribbean athletes do have, because not everybody has the ability to go overseas, maybe go to school, but creating hubs like that, I think is really important. And I think that's why so many of our athletes from even the smaller islands are flourishing so much.
You're an interesting model in that you were a multi-event, and of course there's no triple jump in the multis, but you wonder if all of those things that make you good at the multi coalesce into the triple jump. You've made them so.
I think that it all kind of played into like that body awareness. Before I was even doing track and field, I was a dancer. So when you're spending 4 or 5 hours in front of a mirror with an instructor telling you very specifically how to fix something very technical, you learn how to take criticism, you learn how to make these small refined changes, and I think those definitely tumbled into track and field, and it definitely tumbled into triple jump. I mean, I was introduced to triple by my track coach telling me, he's like, "Oh, you're a ballerina, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, I used to be." He was like, "It's 3 leaps," and I was like, "That doesn't look quite like 3 leaps." But yeah, it definitely, you should have seen the first time I tried it. Let's just say my step phase was really almost like midair split. And he was like, "Don't do that again." But they definitely helped mold me into who I am as a jumper today. Yeah.
It's interesting you say that, because you helped me, the name escapes me, but the Olympic discus champion from the U.S. was also a dancer.
Valerie Allen.
Yeah. So that's a footwork event.
Yeah, there's a lot of...
Yours is a big-time footwork event.
Well, there's a lot of dance gymnastics, correlations, ex-gymnasts, ex-dancers that became really good athletes. So happy to be one of them.
Between the first jump, 14.4, into the 15-meter, like what is going through your mind? What are you kind of thinking after that first one?
So the first jump, I thought that I had to chop my steps quite a bit. So I wasn't running free, as we call it. And I really collapsed on my step phase. And so I told myself, well, Aaron moved me back half a shoe to give me some room. He was like, just go for it. And I was like, okay. And so I went for it and just really made sure that no matter what happened in my step, that I got a good full foot contact and extended into the pit. And I remembered outdoor whirls where my last jump, my hop was amazing, but I didn't get a full foot contact on my step. And I think that's what cost me a medal. And so I was like, oh no, do or die, we're getting that full foot contact. And so I looked at the film and I was like, ooh, over-rotated in that step. But that contact was nice. And so that was the main change. And it's funny how like just moving me back and just changing, like really honing in on one cue was like, what, almost a 60 centimeter difference, 50, 60 centimeter difference. So it's these little things that big changes. So.
How do you feel about the 15? Because it was 15, but 15.01. I mean, you've had like big fouls before.
Yeah.
How do you feel technically about that jump?
I didn't think it was that amazing. I really thought I was around 14.80, and I was like, okay, that puts me in the mix. That's a good place to be. A top 3 for sure. Okay. But the scream came out because I truly was surprised. Like I didn't know it was gonna be a 15-meter jump. And when I went over to Aaron, I was like, that kind of felt easy. That was 15 meters? And he was like, yeah, I told you could do it. And I was like, okay, well, 1, I love the I told you so moment that came out of your mouth. But 2, I was like, oh, that only made me feel like there was so much more in the tank, and I'm grateful for that.
In Dominica, is there a culture where kids grow up wanting to be athletes, or is it other sports? What dominates there?
So what dominates there is football, or soccer as we call it in the States, and cricket. So those are the 2 big ones, but we're starting to see a larger interest in athletics, and I love to see it. I follow a few of their pages, and I just love, even if it's just giving them a shout out or double tapping or liking what they're doing on Facebook. But I really think that the best thing I can do for these young athletes are have moments like this, where they see us on the podium, where they see that it's possible, and also be a person of reference if they need any help to get to the next step, especially if we're talking NCAA or training camps or whatever. So to be that kind of liaison and that inspiration is something I'm really proud of.
How did you get started as an athlete?
My mother said that I couldn't go directly home after school, so I had to find an activity, and all my friends were doing it. There is no other backstory. That is it. I skipped a grade, so I was 13 in high school, freshman in high school in the States, but it really was like I had to find an activity, and my friends were doing it. And it's funny that my friends talked me into doing it, and then I'm the last one doing it out of the group professionally. So that was it. I'm really good peer pressure. So,
Where'd you go to high school?
I went to John F. Kennedy High School in Silver Spring, Maryland.
Obviously, it's an Olympic year this year. Do you have a progression towards that? What's next for you the rest of the season?
I don't know. I don't know what's next. We really haven't planned outdoor season. Aaron and I said we'll think about it, once we get back home, but let's just focus on what's at hand. Of course, we do want to build up to a really dominant Olympic year. I have a chip on my shoulder, and I am definitely trying to get a medal for Dominica. But as of right now, I'm going to enjoy this moment. I'm going to go home and take a little break and eat some cake. And
What type of cake?
something like either lemony. I like citrus, and I'm also a simple vanilla girl. So
There you go.
yeah, so I'll be leading into the sweets a little bit, and then we'll tighten it back up and go right back into outdoor and draw from there. But as of right now, I really don't know what even the next 3 weeks is going to look like. So.
Where's your